at home. I mean, we're getting to the point where the standard will be so. But one of the big issues is that to do things well, to speak well, it is actually, despite the technology, the writing craft is extremely painstaking. And it's difficult to explain how hard it is to get good at it.
The residuals are a payment to the writer for those stories that get told in increasingly different medium now due to the technology.
Certainly our structures are different, but it's always, you have to keep an eye out and making sure that, say, the major makers of film and television, particularly television, their position doesn't erode, so that doesn't follow on to Australia.
But we're particularly concerned about this issue because we think that, as I said, the whole area of the internet in the future is the way broadcasting is going, is the way program delivery is going. It's moving away from broadcast to broadband, as I said, and if we don't get a piece of that action, then I think we'll be left out of it.
But there's opportunities for everybody now in terms of like being able to make things that can get streamed directly on the internet, or things that, 3 minutes sketches or stories that can get downloaded to mobiles. So the technology has increased the possibility to be able to tell stories.
It's actually a really complex form of writing. Essentially, you're writing a blueprint for everybody who is working on the film. Cinematographer, sound recordist, editor, production manager, whole deal, including actors. The new technology gives lots of opportunities for people to get trapped into contracts where they don't realise that they're giving away what is in fact what is due to them.
We don't do it for the money, but we deserve to be paid just as anyone else does because we work very hard.
All the American writers are asking for in this is 2.5 cents in every dollar of earned revenue. That's not a lot. It demonstrates how mean they are, the studios, that they will have a strike that will stop production rather than pay a paltry amount like 2.5 cents in the dollar.
Can a writer make a living here in Australia?
Certainly writers can. I mean, we've got Jeffrey Atherton here, who wrote, amongst other things, Mother and Son and Grassroots. Is a fabulous writer. You've got writers working on series, and it's good to see that there's more drama series now being commissioned in Australia, and things like Foxtel, where they're commissioning, local content. So yes, you can. In terms of trying to get feature films up, it's certainly not an easy thing, and you need to be talented, you need to be persistent, and you need to just keep following your dream and have the discipline to do that.
We've just elected an Australian government in Australia, and one of its platforms was called Giving Australians a Fair Go. And it's a fine Australian tradition. And I think that same idea of giving people a fair go is also part of the United States idea. And if producers take, if you like, more than what can be seen to be their fair share of the profits from the work that writers do, that's not a fair go.
Is the strike working, or are studios starting to fire writers?
No, the writers are on strike, so they're not being fired. They've just stopped. They're down pens, they're down computers, they're not working in America. Already a lot of shows have gone off-air, shows that, like Tonight shows that need the work of a writer now, today, to do the satirical comment on today's news. Those programs have gone, they've stopped. Programs that would be going into production soon are not going to production. Films that already have scripts will get made, but the ones where the script is not complete won't, because the writers have stopped work. So over time, production will stop.
And you've got to remember, the Writers' Guild, of all the guilds and craft guilds, is the most proactive, because it has to be right there. We have young people coming to us daily saying, I've just sold the rights to my story for $1, and the producer tells me that'll be fine. And of course it's not.
Tell me about the favour you think you call in from the US.
Oh, well, there'll be our issues in our country, and it's almost a union. It is kind of a union, the guild, and it's just like any alliance, really. I think it's a two-way street.
So what do you see in the horizon for Australia? What might happen?
Anything might happen in this country. I mean, the new medias are a new world.
How long is this strike for?
Last year, last time, this is 20 years ago, the strike went on for 5 months. It was a very long strike.
To change systems in Australia that would give writers more in terms of the Writers' Guild, which is fundamentally performance writers, television, radio and film, and stage, then there have to be, I guess, more money put into the arts and certainly more money put into film and television.
I like waking up in the morning and knowing there's something different going on today, which is another good thing about writing, because you work on a project for 6 months and then you move on to another one.
So it takes a certain type of person to be able to become a writer in the first place, would you say?
Definitely.
How often can a broadcaster survive just showing reruns without showing any new programs?
The people get into it because there's a possibility of making a very, very large amount of money, producers. The skilled ones understand how much they need writers. It is a specialised skill. But there's a lot of people out there who are interested pretty much in the end result, which is big returns. And so on the way, those are the people that have to be educated to a responsibility that it's actually a cooperation.
It's been a tougher world because the networks are sort of putting a bit of the squeeze on the producers who bring it all down to the writers, and so independents are struggling, and so the independent writer is as well.
You have to be strong, you have to stand by your ideas and yet listen to other people when they have different ideas. You have to be happy in your own company because it's a bit lonely, and you have to be willing to get out and sell yourself and be confident.
It affects us because I think what we're looking at is the development of new business models, a way of collecting the money for the internet from the internet.
Now, writers fundamentally are invisible. It's written, nobody really talks about that very much. We understand that. It's not about that, it's about the fact that we have to say to the new generation of producers, and there are a lot of people looking at the gold vein, this is how it works. This is how you honour the work that we're going to make you look good and make you wealthy, and we expect this percentage, and it's a percentage.
Yeah, there needs to be more shows put up on the screen, and digital content, creating it.
What do you say to the comment that some producers have made that anybody can write?
Well, let them try, because this is what happened before. There were people who tried writing, producers said, well, you know, all the writers are gone, I'll just do it. And they wrote some of the most awful programs that have ever been made, and they flopped, they failed, and they found pretty quickly that writing is a lot harder than it looks. It takes a lot of training and expertise and skill, and if you can't do it, you can't do it.
Well, one of the things that we did fight for and win was Australian content, that we should have minimum content. Our stories are our culture, and if we are consuming continually other cultures, our children are growing up with other accents, and we like them to have Australian accents.
What we want to do first is to get the word back to America, that we are standing in support of our American colleagues, our brothers and sisters of writers in America. That's the most important message. I think we also want to get the message out here in Australia that writers want a fair payment for their work, for the use of their work. And at the moment we're not getting that here either.
You're all welcome to come over to the Brass Monkey. We've got free drinks and food, compliments of the American Writers Guild, and that's just across the road.
Well, thanks for watching Perth City Talks. We'll see you again next week, same time, same channel, and we hope the writers really get what they want, because if they don't, we have no more story.
I was advised by my attorneys to be careful what I say. Shit. I mean, this is bullshit. Listen, when you negotiate a contract, they don't care how much you justify your cause. They don't care how much you articulate your cause. They really don't care about sharing the profits on the new media. They don't care about playing fair. The only thing they care about is getting kicked in their damn asses. That's all they care about. Okay? And you can and you will.